Hello. Today we're going to talk about chemical formulas. Okay, guys, before we start, let's go ahead and review some concepts that we talked about a couple days ago. Okay? Remember that a molecule has two atoms minimum bonded. Okay? This right here is actually an example of a molecule. Okay? This circle with an H is one atom of hydrogen, and this circle over here with an H is another atom of hydrogen. I have two atoms. This line here in the center represents a chemical bond. Okay? In previous presentations, I told you that a chemical bond is when the orbitals of atoms overlap and they are sharing two electrons. So this line indicates that two electrons are being shared between this atom and this atom. Okay? They're connected. Okay? This represents a connection, but we don't call it a connection in science. We call it a chemical bond. Okay? Now there is some molecules that have 1,000, 10,000, 1,000,000 atoms, okay? But minimum, they must have two, okay? We already talked about this the other day. I just want to go ahead and emphasize what a molecule is because you're going to be identifying molecules and compounds later, uh, and it's an assignment that you're going to turn into me, okay? So let's go ahead and talk now about a compound, okay? So a compound has two elements bonded, okay? So over here, okay, I only have one element, okay? I only have hydrogen, right? Hydrogen there's only one type of element. Yes, there's two atoms, but there's only one element, okay? This right here is not a compound. It's a molecule, right? It's a molecule, but it's not a compound, okay? Now let's take a look at this molecule of water. Okay, here I have one atom of hydrogen, here I have an atom of oxygen, here I have an atom of hydrogen. Okay, now how many different elements do I have here? Okay, well, first of all, okay, here and here, okay, those are atoms of hydrogen. Okay, so that's one type of element that's present in this compound. Okay, hydrogen. Okay. Now another element that's present in this compound is oxygen. Okay, so I have here two elements present. I have hydrogen, okay, and I have oxygen. Right? So as you can see, this is an example, okay, this right here is an example of a compound. Why? Because there's two elements. Okay? So, guys, I want you to go ahead and repeat after me. This is an important concept for you to know. Okay? A molecule, two atoms. A molecule has two atoms. So, I want you to repeat after me. Molecule, two atoms. Compound has two elements. So, when I say compound, we're going to say two elements. Okay? Compound, two elements. Molecule, two atoms. Compound, two elements. Molecule, two atoms. Okay, compound, two elements. This is something that's going to help you remember the difference between a molecule and a compound. Let's go ahead and continue. Okay, right now we're looking at the periodic table. Okay, and take a look here at all the different elements. Okay, notice that each element here, okay, has a symbol and an atomic number. Okay, for example, this element right here, Okay, this element right here is hydrogen. Okay, and the symbol for this element is H. Okay, and this is the atomic number. Okay, we talked about the atomic number as well in our introductory presentation for atoms. Okay, remember that this number right here, the atomic number, tells you how many protons and how many electrons are present in an element. Okay, but right now we're not going to talk too much about the atomic number. We're going to concentrate more on using these symbols to indicate what elements are present in a compound, okay, or in a molecule. All right, so earlier we looked at the molecule of hydrogen, okay? Okay, and it looked something like this, right? We had 2 atoms of hydrogen, okay? Now, this is a nice, well, it's not that nice, but this is an example of a molecule, right? But chemists, we don't like to actually draw this out every time we want to represent a molecule. Okay, this molecule is actually kind of easy to draw, but if you have a molecule that has 100 atoms, it would be very difficult to draw all 100 atoms, and also it would be time consuming. Okay, so in order for us to save time, we draw chemical formulas. Okay, so it would, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and draw the symbol H, which represents hydrogen. Okay, and instead of drawing these 2 circles in a line, I'm just going to put here 2. Okay, so this means that I have 2 hydrogens that are bonded. Okay, so this is way easier. This thing right here, it was way easier for me to draw than actually drawing the molecules out. Okay, let me give you another example for writing a chemical formula. Earlier we saw a molecule of water. Try drawing that. Okay, the molecule of water has 1 oxygen and 2 hydrogen. Okay, so like I said, it's much easier for chemists to write chemical formulas than to be drawing out these molecules. Okay, so we're going to go ahead now and write a chemical formula for this molecule. Okay, we're going to start with hydrogen. How many hydrogens do we have here? Yes, we have 2. So I'm going to write H. Then I'm going to put a number 2 here. Okay, and then the other element that's present in this molecule is oxygen. So I'm going to write here oxygen. Okay, now I could put a 1 there, but what chemists do is we just leave the 1 out. Okay, we leave it blank there. That area that's blank after the O actually means that there's 1 atom present there. Okay, so H2O, that's how I write using the chemical formula water. Go ahead and erase this. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and draw another molecule, or actually a compound. Okay, I'm going to draw salt. Okay, chemists, we call salt sodium chloride. Okay, salt actually has 1 atom of sodium. What I want you to do right now is I want you to take a look at your periodic table, and I want you to find the symbol for sodium on your periodic table. Go ahead and press pause, and then once you find the element, press play. Alright guys, so if I zoom in over here on this side, okay, I see over here that sodium, the symbol is Na, okay, and it has an atomic number of 11. Alright, so I told you earlier guys that table salt has 1 atom of sodium, so I'm going to go ahead now and start writing the chemical formula for table salt. Okay, so that's the first element that we're going to write down. Now, what I want you to do now is go ahead and find chlorine. Table salt also has one atom of chlorine in the compound. Okay, so go ahead and press pause, find the symbol for chlorine, and once you find it, press play. Alright, so chlorine's over here on this side of the periodic table. Okay, it's right here. The symbol is Cl. So now I'm going to go ahead and write the last element that's present in table salt, Cl. Okay. Now what I want you guys to notice here is that these two elements, sodium and chlorine, they actually have two letters, guys. Okay. But what I want you to notice is that there's one capital letter and one lowercase letter, right? In each element symbol. One capital letter and one lowercase letter. Okay. Some elements even have three, right? Like this element here. These elements here have three letters. Okay. However, if there's more than one letter, there's always going to be at least just one capital letter. Okay. So guys, whenever you're looking at molecules or compounds, okay, if you see a bunch of letters, in order for you to be able to see how many different elements are present in a compound, what you're going to be looking for is actually the capital letters. Okay? Let me give you another example here. Let's see here. 1 second, guys. Okay? Here is another compound. Okay, here I have three letters, right? HC.